welcome back here on Prospect Nation. Swap facilities. We're at SSC. Now we're at SSC. That's Kayla Smith here.
Marcus, always a pleasure to join you here on the SUV TV. You mentioned Kayla Smith dropping that three from deep range for Pistols Mario. Kayla, a 2015 graduate, recently gave her verbal commitment to Western Kentucky. She's a long-time Elite Basketball Academy alum. Really excited to watch her and Team Elite face off here today. Seems like every time I watch Kirk Pointer's team play, they've got a different color arrangement going on here. You know, whether it's the black and gold, now it's kind of the purple and pink type of thing going on here. I like it regardless. Coach Pointer always keeps his kids sharp. Marcus, when you talk about Team Elite, we've had them on the broadcast several times already this spring. Won a championship game. I believe that was back at the preseason shootout, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that was on Easter weekend. Big victory that they had at that tournament. They are definitely one of the better up-and-coming teams, you know, from around the nation. When you talk about Erica Cassell right here, number 11 in purple, just got that inbounds pass. She's one of the premier rebounders in the class of 2016. Just a host of other talented prospects that we'll talk about as the broadcast goes along. But there's not just one player that you can say, hey, this is the reason why they go. No, they've got a bench full of players, and on any given night, it could be somebody stepping up different each time. Coach Pointer has always made a living off of, you know, high pressure defense, having, you know, lots of guards and lots of speed, you know, from end to end, you know, forcing turnovers and such. But what is interesting about this team here this year is when you look at, you know, the two 6'2" post players, Autumn Newby and Erica Cassell, they can really punch it inside. You saw that high-low feed there from the high post from Newby inside to Cassell. You really like what, you know, the versatility of this team, you know, not only with the guard playing the pressure, but also the inside presence, you know, with the rebounding and the scoring, you know, on the interior. He has a number of different ways that he can go with this team. And right on cue, they almost get another little high-low look right there, but good defense by Pistols Mario to be able to break that out. And a slick pass there by Kayla Pointer on the interior. And she's going to finish off the play there with the three-point bucket.
Kayla Pointer, no stranger to finishing off plays. Her three-pointer makes it a 5-5 ball game. On baseline, having to cut off, but making the nice dish. It's finished by number 42, Michelle Smith, assisted by Jada Coggins.
Yeah, in the coaching world, we call that an eye cut. You dribble baseline, slide up the lane, and a great finish there by Smith. But coming right back the other direction, Kayla Pointer hitting her second three-pointer in a row.
Ooh, Pointer's back-to-back three-pointers makes it 8-7 in favor of Pointer Elite.
You see that great cover down right there by Morrison. That's the defensive intensity that we're talking about from Team Elite. They just always seem to swarm to the ball, finding ways to get deflections. really making it difficult for their opponents to get clean looks at the basket.
Nice defense right there. Pointer steals that pass, going all the way, layup drill. 10-7 ball game, advantage Team Elite.
Marcus, you could say that they're making me look like a prophet right now, but as you know, we've seen them play so many times. This is just really their character there. But a job of by the Pistols Mario team, I should say here, of attacking right back in transition and getting that easy layup.
That layup by Michelle Smith, who's got the last 2 buckets here for Pistols Mario. 1-point advantage for Team Elite. That pass a little too tall for Cassell, and it'll go back over to Pistols Mario.
I like what they're trying to do right there. You notice that they kind of brought everybody up high, a little horns look, or even a little 1-4 high action. Hedged hard on that ball screen, and passed just a little bit too high, but nevertheless a good look inside, especially when you take the help side away.
Kerry Watson, number 1 for Pistols Mario, still trying to get going here. Definitely a player you'll want to keep your eye on throughout the course of the game. Watson out of Stevenson High School.
Yeah, Watson has already given her verbal commitment to Georgia State University, a 2015 prospect. She gave that verbal. Well, your teammate is there to pick you up, and you also know that hey, if I'm not playing well, I could be on the bench because somebody else is going to take my spot. We've seen that a number of times, going all the way back to the spring showdown, where Coach Pointer actually took his 2 talented big players, put them, and went with the hot hand in Kira Johnson-Graham, and it was really her play that solidified that championship victory.
Hey, Harris. Ball's turned over. Pistols Mario with it. And they'll retain possession. Ball last knocked out of bounds by Johnson-Graham. 10-11 ball game. 9:55 and counting left to play here in the first half. Kerry Watson still trying to get going here. Got to give credit to the Pistols, to Team Elite Pointers defense on her up to this point. And then again, as you see defensively, they're really no respect of persons as far as the way they play. They're in your face, they're in the passing lanes, they're up and down. This game has not been any exception. Kia Harris brings it up. Enjoy watching her play at the Coach Hemi Showcase there a couple months ago, and she had some solid spring outings here for Team Elite Pointer as well in tournament play.
Hey, I got to agree with you, Marcus. Starting with kind of the camp circuit that we had, with the top 40 workout at Buford, Georgia, and also the Coach Hemi Showcase that we had the weekend after there in Tennessee. Akia really, showed that she's a kid that can handle herself and even make a big splash if necessary. And we've seen that in the spring tournaments as well. She's come in, hit several jumpers, handled the ball at times, providing very good minutes coming off the bench, backing up Kayla Pointer a lot of times.
We're still here at 10-11. Scoreboard stagnant for the past couple minutes, but still a game that's being played at a high level up to this point. We're going to see a little bit of a zone look, it looks like, from Pistols Mario. Get it inside to Kiera Johnson-Graham. Graham threw that ball right to Michelle Smith. Smith unable to hold on to it, so it'll stay with Pointer Elite.
Yeah, not sure if that was a zone or just a sagging man-to-man defense. Regardless, it has the same effect that you're really trying to close down those driving lanes. Make form, in the coaching world, we call it a 3-man wall, to where you make it very, very difficult to get into the lane and, make you kick, and pass, several extra times. So there's, some different strategy that you can bring in here. Sometimes you can kind of press up and, try to get those deflections, or, in that sense, back off a little bit and force them to take jumpers.
Kayla Smith has it for Pistols. Michelle Smith has that one knocked away by Morrison. Pieces picked up by Cook. That's Cook the other way over to Morrison in the corner. Nice defense by Watson. Takes her time, picks it up. Gets it over to Williams. Williams too strong off the glass. Ball's on
the keys of the game.
Nice.
Keys to the SUV, huh?
Nice one, man.
But I got to agree, you know, if there is an edge for Team Elite, at least on paper, you know, it should be the glass. You know, when you talk about the size and the length, you get that rebound right there. On paper, they should have the advantage. However, if Coach Mario's team does want to kind of flip that in the other direction, you got to find a way to get a body on, box out every time there's a shot. And here you see a little, I think we would call a little matchup zone right here by Pistols Mario. Looks like they're trying to trap the corners and, you know, switching all screens. You know, you would call it a matchup zone because you're not going into your traditional kind of 2-3 look, you know, where you got your two guards, you know, at the elbows. But instead, what you're trying to do initially is at least match up, you know, with all the perimeter players to kind of give the appearance that you're in a man-to-man. But then on, you know, the first pass, the second pass, then you're moving and rotating to a particular area and to continue to match up in a, you know, a man-to-man look, but you really have zone principles behind it.
That appears to be a good foul there by the Pistols. Neither free throw knocked down by Johnson Graham, so we're still here at 10-11. Kayla Smith with it up top, guarded by Johnson Graham. Kicks it over to Williams. Smith, she's already got a couple layups, can't get the mid-range jumper to go. Pointer in there with the rebound. Pointer took a spill, but was able to have the wherewithal to get it to Cook.
Good deflection. And good hands there by Johnson Graham to get it to Newby. I couldn't see if that shot went in or not. No, I think we're going to get two shots here at the line.
Autumn Newby working hard inside. Really, anytime you get your hands on that basketball here in this game, it's safe to say you've worked hard to get it. Nothing's coming easy on either end. Number one, Kerry Watson checks back into the game for the Pistols.
Yeah, and as I was going to say, I think if there's an adjustment here by both teams, quite honestly, when it comes to handling the ball and being more sure with the ball, I think, you know, just some simple ball fakes, pass fakes, because that you'll notice, you know, both teams are really jumping out into the passing lanes and really trying to anticipate the steals and get deflections and such. You know, simply just looking one direction, showing the ball, you know, to your left, getting them to shift that way and then go back to the other direction could go a long ways in being able to handle the ball more surely.
Yeah, good point. Quinicia Morrison out of Archer High School at the free throw line. First one in and out. Coach Kirk Pointer not happy with this team's free throw percentage at this point in the game so far. Morrison tries to save it off of the Pistols player. Johnson Graham going to touch it last in her save attempt, so it'll stay with the Pistols. Watson guarded by Zaturia Cook. Wide open three-pointer for Kayla Smith. It's no good. Touches the system, so it'll be Team Pointer Elite's ball out of bounds.
Yeah, not too many wide open looks in this game. I think that caught Kayla a little bit off guard there. You know, there's been so much pressure, so much intensity, and now she catches the ball and nobody is within 10 feet around her. I think that caught her a little bit off guard.
Yeah, she probably saw a Team Elite Pointer Mirage standing in front of her, even though they weren't there.
Right.
Just got to picture Autumn Newby running out, trying to close out on the shot. 5 minutes, 18 seconds left to play here in the first half. Still a 1-point advantage for the Pistols, but an unfortunate turnover there for Coach Mario's squad. Ball back over to Team Elite Pointer.
I think this game's going to come down to just who is going to be able to handle the other team's pressure, quite honestly. Both teams are, you know, making what appears to be unforced errors. You know, in reality, I think the speed of the game, the tempo of the game, the intensity of it all is forcing these kids to speed up and to make decisions that, you know, a little bit quicker than, you know, what they would really want to be. So whoever is going to be able to slow the game down enough so that they don't make these, you know, seemingly unforced errors will be, I think, the team that will end up on top at the end.
That ball blocked out of bounds by Pointer Elite. Kerry Watson to inbound it. Coggins up top for the jump shot. That was Janae Royals off on the attempt. Johnson Graham clears it out of there, gets it over to Morrison. Pointer chases it down. Tries to go behind the back, unable to retrieve the ball. Here comes Watson the other way. Watson going to spring it back out for the Pistols. Nice defense there by Morrison, and saves it.
Wow.
Tell you, Morrison is athletic. I mean, I know I'm Captain Obvious there, but she always seems to have a couple plays in every game, every Prospects Nation TV webcast we do that kind of serves as a jaw dropper.
And right on cue, she comes up with a nice little pickpocket, takes it end to end, and finishes with the score. But you're right. You know, she's one of those classic lockdown wing defenders. They can make an array of plays on the defensive end.
Speaking of plays on the defensive end, Zatoria Cook steals that one away. Misses the shot again. Autumn Newby working inside the dribble. A little bit of a spin, and she gets it to go and one. She'll have a chance for the three-point play to Hardway. So we're going to have a timeout in the action. 3 minutes, 56 seconds left to play. Here in the first half, it's now a 4-point advantage for Team Pointer Elite. And we talked about the rebounding battle and really making sure, if you're the Pistols, you do a good job of keeping both Cassell as well as Autumn Newby off of the glass. We see there on that three-point play something that you want to minimize if you're the Pistols.
Well, you're definitely right about that, Marcus. And in fact, the way that this game has gone, rebounding has really been a non-factor. You know, when you look at it, it's a 15-11 game. There's really been more turnovers and deflections and, you know, passes out of bounds than there have been missed shots. So in that way, when you speed it up that much, you take the big kids out of the game. You take them out of the equation. So hats off to Team Mario for doing that. Now what they've got to do, conversely for themselves, is, well, they've got to prevent those type of errors and turnovers, you know, so that Team Elite doesn't get, you know, easy buckets on the other end.
When you look at the weapons that this Team Pointer Elite squad has, it's very tough to keep them from getting shots on goal for an entire game. You know, you can speed it up, but when you have a team that has their speed from top to bottom, it's only a matter of time before they're able to kind of minimize the turnovers and get some shots and just let Newby and Cassell kind of do cleanup work from there.
Very good point. Nisia Williams, Kayla Smith, those kids to really be able to control the pace of play, make sure that you get a shot every time down. It doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, always a highest percentage shot, but you want to be able to get shots before you get turnovers.
Exactly, man. You might be able to rebound and score off of a missed shot. Have you ever seen anyone score off of a turnover?
No, well, not when I turn it over.
Harris to Woolfolk. Woolfolk, a solid player off of the bench always for this Team Pointer Elite squad. There we see Jada Lewis Another cog in the wheel. Get that floater to go. 18-11 ball game. Layup opportunity there for Janae Royals is cashed in. Royals out of Hiram High School.
Good layup there by Royals, and they're going to need buckets like that from her and some of their other bench players for sure.
Lewis misses the shot. Long rebound corralled in by Woolfolk. She's no good on her jumper. Smith going to get it ahead to Royals. Royals in need of a lifeline. Ball's knocked out of bounds. Sorry, knocked out of her hands. It's still inbounds. Ball's going to stay with the Pistols.
Now, I think this is an interesting dynamic here. About 2 minutes, 12 seconds. I want you to, let's see if we can remember this and pull this back up in the second half. Team Elite just had an offensive possession in which they were able to slow it down in the half court and be able to get a good shot in the half court, and then you flip it right back around to the defensive end, and they're all over the place. You know, like swarming bees, you know, forcing, Pistols Mario to throw the ball nearly out of bounds and such. And that's the dynamic for Team Elite that they want to have. Control on offense, make sure that you get a good shot, don't turn it over, get a second shot if necessary, but then come up with turnovers on the other end.
They get a steal there. Harris misses. Follow attempt by Jada Lewis is no good. And ball lastly knocked out of bounds by Pointer Elite. So it'll go back over to the Pistols.
You know, in the game of basketball, we talk a lot about rhythm. You know, can you play in rhythm? And that's what Kirk Pointer's team really wants to do, is they want to get you out of rhythm overall. And so even though they haven't been converting a high percentage of these fast break plays, I think the game is starting to shift in their favor because they have been able to keep Pistols Mario out of rhythm. You'll notice that there haven't been a large number of, you know, wide open three-pointers here lately. They've been double teaming the ball handlers, creating turnovers and such. So it's that dynamic that, quite honestly, Coach Mario now is in a little bit of a danger zone here, just down 5. You don't want to go into halftime down double digits.
Not at all. On top of that, you look at the bench for Pistols Mario and the bench for Team Pointer Elite. It's going to be tough in that aspect just from a fatigue standpoint as this game continues on. Getting called for the travel there is Jada Lewis. It'll go back over to the Pistols.
Yeah, and again, they don't convert on a fast break opportunity, but still they're keeping the Pistols really, you know, out of rhythm on offense, and oh goodness.
Nice move by Woolfolk, unable to finish though. Stop and pop on the jumper is number 24, Jada Coggins.
And that's an important jumper right there. Going into halftime, if you can keep this a 4-point lead and kind of regroup a little bit, talk about what you want to do in the second half, I think that'll go a long ways to keeping this game close and giving yourself a shot to win come the last 5 minutes of the game.
Pointer Elite going to hold for the last shot here. Akia Harris with it up top. About 6 seconds to work with. Morrison to Woolfolk. Woolfolk hanging in the air and finishing. Wow. So Naja Woolfolk ends the first half on a positive note for Team Pointer Elite. They go into it with a 6-point advantage. We'll take a short break and catch you back here for the second half here on Prospects Nation TV. no good. And it looks like we're going to have an offensive foul there against Autumn Newby.
I'm going to express my bias here for just one moment. I'm going to try to do this in the most objective way possible, but I hate that rule, Marcus, the whole elbow, thing. I think that just gives free license for the defense to put their hands in there and just foul you. Well, what else are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
Other than pivot. It used to be that you could put your elbows up and pivot and not swing your elbows. Now they've taken that away from. Okay, so I'm going to stop now. Back to the game.
All right, I get you, man. If it makes you feel any better, I'm with you on that, man. Kerry Watson, key bucket there for the Pistols. Not only does it bring them to within 4 points, but it's also the first bucket for Kerry Watson, number 1 here in the white jersey for the Pistols. Somebody is going to have to get going for them to be able to win this game.
You're right. You talk about the combo of Watson and Kayla Smith. I think that's where it starts now. Michelle Smith has, come up with some, important buckets. I would also, look for Anissa Williams. She's a talented kid, a real, a grinder, if you want to put it in John Gruden's terms. Maybe, not necessarily a true point guard or a true shooting guard, but she's just effective and productive. We haven't heard much out of her, in the first half, but if the Pistols do want to make a run, I think she's going to be a big reason for it.
Definitely, and she's a competitor. I remember seeing her at the EBA Top 40 as we see nice little touch pass there by Pointer, the finish by Morrison. That ball going to be deflected, and it'll be last touch by Watson. But back to number 10 in the white jersey for the Pistols, Anissa Williams. Saw her go head-to-head against Taya Cooper there in that EBA Top 40. And, aside from the actual score or the box score, you were really able to see her really compete and be up for the challenge of guarding the Cooper, which is always a tough task. See the splash outside from Autumn Newby, who says, I do more than rebound inside. I can step out and shoot it a little bit.
We'll come back to Newby in just a second, but I could not agree more with you about Williams. I've been a big fan of hers, honestly, for several years. Had a chance to watch, her and DeAndra Pringle at Mountain View High School a few years ago. I remember getting their names and saying, hey, these are going to be kids that are going to be not only solid high school basketball players, and in fact, they helped Mountain View High School to one of the most successful seasons that they've had in school history this year. But they're going to be, college, basketball players as well. As you see Williams here on the break and gets it to finish, and that's what we see, from her. She's just a gritty kid, a kid, like you said, that is willing to go toe-to-toe with, maybe the best point guard in the country, and, never back down.
Her bucket brings him to within 7. Going to be a turnover back over to the Pistols. Checking back into the game for them, number 14, Ariana Williams. So the Pistols, they trail by 7. Kerry Watson with the ball. She's guarded by Zatoria Cook, and we have Brandon Clay joining us here on the mic. Brandon, this has been an intense matchup thus far. Your thoughts on it as we continue here in the second half?
Well, there's so much length on the floor. And you start to talk about trying to score points and the different things that both teams are going to have to do. Neither team is safe, obviously, at the point total they're at right now. You've got to find ways to manufacture points. I think that dribble drive there by Kayla Smith is a great way to do it. Now you got to go to the free throw line, make shots. We always talk about layups and free throws, Marcus, and I don't feel like this game is going to be any different. Morrison just gives up that layup on that end. She's got to get a shot on goal there for Team Elite. And then Smith here at the free throw line got to make free throws. So between those two things, that's what I saw in the first half and then in the beginning of the second. Whoever can make some free throws is going to walk away with a win and a chance to play in the title game tomorrow.
And you saw it. I can count at least 6 to 7 missed free throws there in the first half by Team Elite Pointer. Something that Coach Kirk Pointer wasn't very happy about, but we've still got plenty of game left. They lead by 6 now. Kayla Smith changes that as we speak.
Well, it's amazing how much better she's gotten. Her length, she's always been long in terms of being able to affect the game defensively and has always had a real mind for it. But honestly, her physical frame and her body have caught up with her now and are giving her a chance to execute some of the things that we could see that she saw inside of the game as a younger prospect, but now physically is able to get those things done. It's one of the reasons why Western Kentucky offered and why she's going there.
We say Naja Woolfolk knocked down that one. Woolfolk always impressed with what she does for Team Pointer Elite off of this bench here.
Well, it's interesting. She's such a great scorer at the high school level. You know, puts up massive amounts of points and buckets down there at Peach County. You know, and it comes in here and obviously still able to get those buckets, but can play a very diverse role, you know, whether it's rebounding, defending right there, putting ball pressure on. She just does so many things that don't even show up in the stat line. That doesn't show up as a forced turnover, but Kirk Pointer knows that it is.
We have a fresh 5 coming into the game for Team Pointer Elite, led by number 1, Akia Harris, who has the ball right now, number 10, Jada Lewis, number 12, Kiera Johnson-Graham, Cassell, as well as number 15, Miranda McClure.
This is a great unit for those guys. You know, what they've been able to do in terms of having 5 and 5 legitimately, and we saw that, you know, a couple weeks ago even, just their depth of wearing teams down, both at the spring showdown and at the preseason shootout. And, you know, this hasn't been any different so far. They really set teams up for this 4 to 6 minute run. Obviously the 4 minutes that we expect these kids to play, and then the next 2 when they come back for fresh legs.
So given the pieces that you see out on the floor for the Pistols and their strong points, what do you see as some of the key dynamics for them being able to counter this depth here by Team Pointer Elite?
You know, the hardest part is being able to keep your legs, you know, being able to play long enough. As you can see, even Williams over there taking a couple of deep breaths, trying to get her legs back under. Now, fortunately for Mario's team, they were in a position where they've got a lot of guard play. You know, it's not big block post, you know, that struggle from a conditioning standpoint. But even still, even if you're Williams or Watson or Kayla Smith or any of those folks, at some point it does become tiring. The Team Elite running waves and waves of quality players, you trying to box them out, keep them off the glass, all the things that go along with it. So, you know, I think when you talk about what the Pistols have to do over the next couple of minutes is be able to stem the tide, not let this 7-point lead become 12 or 13, where now you're 2 runs away. Right now you're 1 away from being right here, but you've got to control the glass and you got to get stops, and then you got to be able to score on the other end and keep this thing in striking distance between 5 and 7.
And when you talk about controlling the glass, I think relatively speaking, they've done a good job of making sure that the glass hasn't been a playground for Cassell and Autumn Newby, which is a tough task.
No question. When you look at it, in theory, you know, a smaller team as UC Smith finished there, but Smith and Smith, you know, on the inside at 5'11" and 6 feet, you know, are their 2 tallest kids. But like you said, they've been able to do a really good job against the talented front line with Newby, Cassell. Oh, hard foul there by Lewis. And you see Smith out again on the break. They've kept Team Elite from being able to use that to their advantage. Johnson-Graham, who we've seen be extremely versatile and effective on the interior, hasn't been able to do that just yet today. And in that regard, we talked about stemming the tide. This has allowed them to keep this game in striking distance now. Now they've got to convert, once again, layups and free throws. They've gotten 2 layups since I've been on the mic, and they've been able to get a couple of free throws, and it's putting them in a position to keep adding points to the board.
As they pull to within 4 with that first knock free throw by Michelle Smith. Gets her second one to go, and the Jonesboro High School attendees going to get a quick breather. In her place is going to be number 15, Janae Royals.
And that's a good time to try to do it as you see her head out like she might be going to get a breath of fresh air here real quick.
Harris gets it over to Lewis. 10 minutes, 15 seconds left to play here in the second half. 3-point advantage for Team Pointer Elite. We talked about this unit being great at kind of extending the cushion for their starting unit. So far, the Pistols doing a good job of making sure that doesn't happen.
When you watch this zone, you know, packed in, Mario's done a good job of slowing the tempo down. A lot of times this group is able to get in, and defensively they change the pace. Turnover, force of a change of possession, something that allows them to get an easy bucket. They got one in the half-court set, and now you see them want to press. This is where they get you. They get you to turn it over a time or 2, and if they can do that, they're going to score a couple of easy buckets.
3 for Anissa Williams, no good.
And now you got a long rebound. Now let's watch it here and see if they can get something easy. This is how they get you going.
Good shot for Akia Harris. It won't go down for her, though. Kayla Smith gets it ahead to watch.
That was a heck of a play on the interior there by Smith. Contested the shot and then was able to corral the rebound. You talk about loose balls, different things like that. Looks like she might actually be favoring her leg on the play.
Smith a little shaken up. Looks like she's still going to stay in the game and shake it off.
That's why you like that kid, man. And there's those free throws. You've got to be able to knock those down when you're playing from behind against Team Elite. You know, they were able to stop the transition opportunity there, corral the ball, get it going the other way, but you got to come out here with a couple of points.
Watson unable to make that trip to the free throw line a productive one. Her team still trails by 5 here. Harris with another floater.
Boy, it's rare that she misses one, let alone 2 of those chip shots in a row. 2 good moves just for.
She'll inbound the ball. Gets it into Cassell. Ball stolen away by Williams. She's got a wolf behind her, and Akia Harris, though, misses the shot. Pistols still able to retain possession. 3-pointer from the top of the key.
Oh, that's big. That's big, and I talked about it being a good time to get Royals in the ball game. It just gives them a different look. You know, they're playing small in theory, but you don't find a lot of people, and you're going to see Kurt Pointer get a timeout here. You don't find a lot of teams, Marcus, especially at the high school level, whether it's high school during the high school season or club teams, who are effectively able to feed to the post on consecutive possessions. So you talk about playing a little smaller and doing some different things, and a lot of times you can get away with that in stretches, 3, 4, even 5 minutes, because you don't have a post player who can command the basketball on the interior 4, 5, even 6 possessions in a row, forcing double teams, forcing kickouts, getting one-on-one situations to score. It's just not something you see at this level. So it allows Mario Williams to do exactly what he's doing, make that substitution, get a 5th guard on the floor in Royals, and get that open look for the 3.
As they pull to within 2 points. When you talk about rhythm, neither team has really been able to establish a consistent one throughout this game due to the defense that they've had to face. But the pendulum probably swings a little bit more in the favor of Team Pointer Elite in that area. However, you still look at a 2-point ball game for the Pistols. Glass definitely half full.
It's great. There's a great line. Eventually the pendulum swings, and you would.
Taylor with the floater, count it.
That's a big time move, man. When you can get into the kill spot and be able to score it, that's tough.
Tough an adjective that definitely fits this guard core for Team Elite Pointer. Woolfolk nearly gets the steal there, unable to keep bounds. So it'll stay with the Pistols. Checking back into the game, number 42, Michelle Smith.
Well, once again, they were able to steal. There are about 3 minutes of actual gameplay with Smith out of there getting a breather. Now you get that interior force back. You've also got, Coggins who can come in, and give you, now you change your look a little bit. Between Coggins, between Smith, now you got that 4-5 look. Kayla Smith is now a long 3. So it's amazing, even with limited numbers personnel-wise, what Mario's able to do with the personnel that he has, playing Kayla Smith essentially at the 3, the 4, and the 5, depending on the moment in time.
You mentioned free throws. They'd be key for both teams. There by Smith. Got to take advantage of opportunities to score without 2 Team Elite Pointer defenders in your face.
No question, man. And the clock stopped on top of that. You've got the clock stop. You're going to look back. Watson missed a couple. Smith just missed one. You've got to be able to convert in that 70 to 75% range to win a game like this. You've got to be hitting 3 to every 4 shots you're taking from the charity stripe.
Taylor Pointer with it up top. Gets it over to Cook. Over to Naja Woolfolk. 3-pointer on the way for a pointer. She's got her first 3-pointer of the second half.
Well, I'll tell you what, if she can continually add to that piece of her game, whether it be off the catch, off the smooth shot by Kayla Smith, but if Pointer can continually add that to her game over the next couple of years, she's going to be one of the best guards in the country. Number 1, regardless of class, but 2, regardless of position, whether a point guard or a 2 guard. I think if there's a point of emphasis for her this offseason, it's being willing to make those open shots when she has top-flight defenders in front of her. And you see her right now more than willing to take the open 3. That's awesome.
Back-to-back three-pointers for her, pushing the lead back to 8 for a Team Elite pointer. Smith gets it to Anissa Williams. Williams with the free throw line. Jumper's no good. Good job of following her own shot. You have another possession for the Pistols. 2 for $1 sell on threes. Williams can't cash in, though, and here comes Woolfolk with the long rebound.
Oh! Takes the contact, went straight through her. Look like some of those highlight films. The awareness not only to be able to catch the basketball, just the hand-eye coordination to catch it in the open floor. You're talking about a kid that's a freshman in high school. But once she catches it, gathers it, she lets the defender fly by because the defender was chasing like she was supposed to, and then still made the shot. That's a lot to ask of any kid, let alone, you know, a kid who's legitimately in the 6'3" area as a freshman in high school, playing at a really high level in a big semifinal game on this stage. It's good basketball, Marcus.
Easy to see why that type of play really helped Archer High School to a Final Four finish there for the girls basketball team here in the state of Georgia this year. Quinicia Morrison, number 23, whose athleticism we talked about, also a member of that Archer High School team. Morrison seems like one of those athletes, man. I would love to see her play multiple sports with just the way she, a couple of her rebounds, man. I could just picture her doing the same thing with the football.
Well, could you imagine her in the high jump? Could you imagine lining up next to her to run 100? Like, there are some things in my life that I don't want. Both of those two qualify. I want no parts of that against that kid, man.
I'll pass. I'll broadcast it. We'll be there. SUV will be there with bells on to broadcast it. But as far as going up against her, I'll pass.
Hey, I'll transition out there like it's the pin relays, man. I'll come hang out with y'all for the day.
12-point advantage here for Team Pointer Elite. 4 minutes, 23 seconds and counting.
It's a big minute and 30 right here. You know, you've got to have this game back. And we talked about wanting to keep it between 4 and 7, and it kind of got stretched out here. You've got to have this game back inside of 7 before the 3-minute marker. You've dug yourself almost an insurmountable hole against a team this good.
Ball last touch by Pointer Elite. Carrie Watson to inbound it. Coggins out top to Smith. Watson going to try a three-pointer. Too strong on that one. Pointer able to block that shot. Kiera Johnson-Graham picks it up. I'm going to say ball last touch by the Pistons.
It's a good call right there. Great effort. You see Watson getting her hands dirty, you know, trying to make a play. It'll be interesting to see how long, too, the Pistols can stay in this contained. You know, they're going man, actually. I was about to say how long they can stay in that contained zone. They had to go man, and that really opens it up for Pointer to be able to drive and get into the lanes the way she likes to, and they immediately get a foul off of her dribble penetration and kick.
That foul going to send Quinicia Morrison to the free throw line. Shoot 2. Too strong on the first free throw. Neither team really doing.
Contort her body to get a finish there.
Fun basketball to watch there. 15-point advantage now for Team Pointer Elite. You mentioned really roughly about a minute 30 ago how crucial the minute 30 would be.
And Pointer was able to stretch it again. It goes back, we talked about depth at the 8-minute mark, and at some point in almost every game, not always, but almost every game, when the other team has the depth, you have to play almost flawlessly. You have to hit every free throw, every layup, every chip shot. They don't have to do that because they've got more pieces than you, so they can afford some off plays. And honestly, Kayla Pointer got rolling there for a second, and those 2 threes really extended it and got them back into the rhythm. Great shot there on the wing from Jada Lewis.
Kayla Smith tries to answer with a 3. No good on that one. Kayla Smith gets another rebound, but has that shot blocked. Nothing coming easy here on either side. Smith going to go right at Cassell. No good. Cassell with the rebound.
Oh, nice.
Jada Lewis. You think the program she plays high school ball for has anything to do with her ability to play here in this type of setting?
You know, it's great, but you know, getting the opportunity to play with McEachin during the high school year, there's nothing that fades Lewis. But I remember vividly at our holiday invitational a couple of years back, watching Lewis, watching her play. And in a lot of ways, you can let her play with the YMCA All-Stars, and it's just kind of who she is, you know? You use the term, you remember Jerome Williams and Junkyard Dog, and I'm not scared of anything. And that really describes Lewis and who she is every day. So definitely part of the credit goes to Phyllis Arthur and McEachern and Taya Cooper and Kalia Robinson and Taylor Gordon and some of those kids that she's played alongside. But a lot of it is just who she is as a player. Yeah. We talked a minute ago, she came right in, gets the steal. Just her energy level and drive and her weight. She really has worked on and improved her game, and it's been really refreshing to watch her development over the past 24 months.
As we are back from the timeout. Talk about getting to a 20-point advantage quickly.
It was just 6 a minute ago, man.
Weaving in through the traffic is Kayla Smith, working hard. Finally getting it to pay off there. She gets the deuce to go for the Pistols. Ooh. Harris with the crossover and the giant killer.
And that's the finish we're used to seeing there from Nakia Harris. She doesn't miss a lot of those chip shots, and just so smooth with it. And you know she doesn't miss a lot because Kurt Pointer never yelled at her for taking the shot, and she still had the confidence to go back to the well even after missing a couple times. Great shot, kid.
Smith continuing to fight inside, going up against a very formidable defense. Lewis.
Oh, great pass. Oh, good tip there. Good chase down by the Pistols. Every Mario Williams, first of all, your team played extremely hard. But second of all, anytime you can get that type of defensive play down a 20 spot underneath the minute where your kids are chasing the play in transition, not giving up on that, getting the tip and then being able to convert the three on the other end, that's A1 basketball even on a tough day for you.
This is one where the game is definitely closer than the final score is going to indicate.
No question.
Credit to Team Elite Pointer and the stable